Hi. Hey, welcome to this episode of Porch Light.
The Porch Light.
That's right, the Porch Light.
The Porch Light sessions? The Porch Light.
We're trying to flesh it out. We love your feedback.
The Porch Light.
Enlightening? No. Shining the light? No, it's too repetitive. So what it means is that we're on our porch talking and shining the light on stuff, but they haven't quite worked it out.
On the community.
Yeah. Well, I'm not for the community. You know what I mean? Like shining the light. This is sponsored by Guinness. No, it isn't, right?
This is sponsored by Opus Dei, St. Patrick's Day. Is it St. Patrick's Day? No, I think we missed it. You missed it, right?
We didn't miss it. It just passed, and we're like, oh, it was St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Anyway, so it would be great. We could use
sponsors.
Oh, right.
Is to let that go in there and settle.
Yeah. So anyhow, what do you want to talk about today, Andy? Cheers.
Cheers. Look at how that falls. It's like a water.
This is not a beer channel.
I'm just saying that's how you do it properly.
Yeah. So you know what? Check it out. I don't know how many people went on to Andy Harris's.
Well, first of all,
okay.
What'd you think
About which part?
our little, to do?
Oh, our little town hall that's right around soon. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was.
Is that what today you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because we have several todays.
It's true.
There are several.
Maybe we can, Chris, put a couple of pictures up here of our little to-do. And subscribe down below and hit the like button.
Yeah, that's what
you don't have to
do when I watch YouTube. Anyway,
everybody has that.
Yeah, so people, the constituents there really wanted a town hall in person, right? And Andy Harris was not responsive at all.
Well, at least not to an in-person one. He did have a telephone one.
Where he controlled everything and said there's 10,000 people on
you had to get on.
Which I think is
right before it started, right?
Yeah, you had to kind of figure it out because he did not make it easy. But let's back up. Let's talk about Jamie Raskin came down here into the town hall. He was really awesome. And Andy Harris, if you're listening, which you probably are, because it also that Andy Harris is obsessed with Indivisible. He gets visibly angry. It's so awesome. So what we're doing?
One more reason to come on over.
Yeah. He doubles down on we're paid and we're busting and all that. It'd be great, but that's not true at all. We live here, but this town hall, so it was totally at capacity. It was standing room only. That's a huge deal. And it was full of constituents, and my judgment was, yeah, I know, but it's kind of part of my brand. Anyway, it keeps it real, people like it. Oh, she's messy, like me.
I have smush. Smooch.
Okay, well, it's part of our brand, honey. Listen.
Not bust in.
No,
we're real. We're real people. Not bust in.
No. So, anyway, so Jamie Raskin came down to the town hall. He was so awesome and answered our questions and was really kind and great. Just let it go. It's a hall. Be like Frozen. You get it? Let it go. All right. Anyway, so he was great, and there were constituents. It was full of Andy Harris's constituents. So the Jamie Raskin Town Hall was full. It was at capacity. There were Republicans there. There were Independents there. There were Democrats there. There were all kinds of people there, and they were really concerned about what's going on. So they see through the BS, and they were. A lot of them told me that's the first time they felt hopeful in a long time, which is great. So the town hall was super awesome. People were really excited, and they had a lot of questions, and Congressman Raskin was very patient, answered a lot of questions, and it was great. So we're super thankful that he came down. Now, let's go back to Andy Harris and his tele town hall. That was nearly impossible to figure out how to get on. So he likes to claim that there's 10,000 people on there, but I don't see any proof of that, so that's
no way you can tell. Have to take his word for it.
Yeah, but we kind of know that's not.
Exactly.
It's not good.
That's what my face was.
So we're talking about Anna Harris's Tully Town Hall that was impossible almost to figure out how to get on. He likes to claim there's 10,000 people on it, which I think is hilarious. He doesn't offer any proof. One thing I noticed, because I'm like, okay, how's this gonna go? I'm like, is he gonna, he screens everything and he tries to control the narrative, but the questions that were being asked were amazing. His constituents are pissed off, and they get what's going on. And the way I'm like, how is he going to answer this? And the way he answered, because he's educated, he's had the privilege of going to the great schools. And so he uses that as a weapon to confuse people with really big words. He lies so easily that you almost think, oh, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? So, people were greatly angered. This one woman, he said they're filibustering. I mean,
What was she asking?
I thought the Republicans like filibustering. So, anyway,
What was she?
she was saying, she was really
Tired selling me.
She was saying, she's like, the protesters in front of the Hyatt, you were saying are paid protesters and they're busting. And, she's like, I was there. I live here. My neighbors were there. I know, I knew, a bunch of people that live here. Mm-hmm. And he got mad. He's like, you're filibustering and we can't have that. And so he muted her. So that's...
what I've noticed?
Hilarious. I mean, not for her.
Andy is especially, Andy Harris.
The bad Andy. This is a good Andy Harris.
Yes. Okay. But what they're really good at is something called projection, which is they're saying that you're doing what they're actually doing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's whenever they're doing that, whenever they're saying hey, they're busing people in, well, that's actually something that they've done, right? And if you see on my blog, check out the blog on our website,
CambridgeIndivisible.org.
Right. I talk about that, and basically it sounds like a freaking conspiracy, but again, they're projecting. It is actually a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy of billionaires who have basically created these things out of whole cloth, meaning he's the leader of the Freedom Caucus. The Freedom Caucus is basically that little rebel group that was formed out of the Tea Party. Well, the Tea Party was completely invented by the Club for Growth and Americans for Prosperity. And these are basically rich guys, rich oil guys for the most part, that, just dumped a bunch of money over decades to create these things, right? And, they're the ones that have created this whole mentality of that it's okay to say one thing and do another, right? And yeah, politicians have always done this, but they're bold about it. They don't even care. They don't give,
So we beat that. And I have a marketing background, so I'm I see what they're doing. So they call it who doesn't like freedom? I support the Freedom Caucus. It's the opposite. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Let's talk about the SAVE Act. So there's something called the SAVE Act. And a woman did ask about that and why he voted for it. And he's like, well, it's to prevent illegal immigrants from voting. Are you not for that? He's just...
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, are you not for that? Which is something that doesn't even happen.
Okay, so let me break it down. So
they're projecting. So what does that tell you?
I think we should call when they project. I think we should call them hectors. That was 1 hectare, 2 hectare. Have you ever heard the phrase "Okay, Hector, projector"? Because so we'll just call them hectors. So they are hectoring a whole hell of a lot. Anyway, so the SAVE Act is okay. First of all, there's already laws in place to prevent people who aren't citizens from voting, and this voter fraud that they think they found is 0.000
0.01% or so. It's like nothing. And then any voter fraud that they've seen, especially in recent years, are usually Republicans that are like they own a house in New Jersey and one in Georgia or something like that. So what it does is makes it harder for American citizens to vote. So, for example, did you get married? Well, we got married and I changed my last name. I'm not going to be able to vote now unless I can come up with my birth certificate that has my married name on it. Make that make sense. Okay. It also eliminates or drastically changes mail-in voting. So, like rural voters, for example, it's going to be much harder for them to vote. So rural, a very nice saying, rural. I was educated.
That's a hard,
yeah, I'm sorry.
that's a hard word to say.
Rural, but they're really important. I mean, all of us are really important. So, yeah, so they don't care. They just want all the power for themselves, down the money and everything else. And they're doing it off of our backs. And they think we're stupid. Like we can't read. Like we can read the Save Act and it's all right there in print. So they do all of these things to get people to vote against their own interest because it sounds good, right? And I think most of us are good people. Doesn't matter what party you're from, and you want the best for your family. You want, to be able to get a good paying job. You want to have healthcare, all the things, right? No matter if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever, it doesn't matter. We have that shared value. They take it to a whole new level of just big words, using phrases like the SAVE Act and the Freedom Caucus and all their other BS things that they do. So, we can also answer questions, see if you guys have any. We'll do our best, and if we don't know, we'll point you in the right direction, or get you the right answer in an unbiased way, because the media is Cucamonga crazy. And
Cucamonga. It's actually a town.
I just rambled.
Orange County.
No, it's not in Orange County. It's in the Inland Empire.
Okay. Riverside County? Doesn't matter. It's
maybe.
That's California.
Or
you talk.
It's literally Cold Springs. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
That is Riverside.
Is it? I should know that. Again. Anyway, so
all that California crap out.
This is what I live with.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he just lies, and just I was like disgusted, and people were trying to hold his feet to the fire. It was really excellent. With the whole Social Security, oh no, everyone's getting their checks, it's totally fine. Meanwhile, Leon, dumbass, I don't want to even say his name, so I just switched it up a little bit.
Oh,
is closing down Social Security locations, making it harder for people to get their benefits. And then he even was saying, oh, and then there's 11-year-olds and 3-year-olds taking Social Security. Well, that tells me he doesn't understand how Social Security works. Because if you have a parent that died, it's survivor benefits. Dumbass.
So, he sounds very eloquent, like he knows what he's talking about, but this is a perfect example. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Not at all. And this is what I mean. Like, if he doesn't care about Social Security, I mean, it's a sure sign that he doesn't care about Social Security.
Right.
Because if he doesn't know that 3-year-olds and 11-year-olds can get Social Security after their freaking dad has died in war or in an accident on a job site or something like that. What the hell? What? I mean, it's just a perfect example of his do-nothingism in Congress. Like, if you can't even understand the basics of Social Security, what are you doing there? And because Social Security is one of the biggest benefits of our federal government, and it's an earned benefit. It has nothing to do with the deficit.
No, it doesn't. That's right.
So that's another lie that they put out there for you to think like, oh,
what's even worse?
We got to worry about the deficit. And you know what? Again, projecting. They don't give a rat's ass about the deficit when they're in office, because they get these huge, tax cuts to super rich people.
Listen to this. I mean, I think he does know how Social Security works, and he is using it to rile up people to vote against their own interests.
Well, he's counting on that. He's counting
That's worse.
on you not understanding it, and that's even worse, right? What character is that?
So we're
There's
going to
no
explain it.
character in that.
Oh, guess what they did today?
What they
Republicans. So Biden capped the banks so they couldn't charge overdraft fees more than $5. The Senate Republicans, which they're in the majority right now, just reversed that. Isn't that great? So it's a big FU to working people and a win for their donor.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to go through the whole congressional process, but yeah, it's just another sign that this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
And if they can come to an agreement on it with the representatives.
So here's another little tidbit. So there's 3 elections coming up, the really important ones. One is the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I think that's on Tuesday, April 1st, right? Is that Tuesday? It's April 1st. Anyway, that's a big one. That will set the precedent for the whole country. I can feel everybody, and it's fine. I do. Because that can roll back reproductive rights, voting rights, labor rights. It's really bad. So Elon Musk is putting a ton of money in to get some MAGA guy in there who will put forth their rotten agenda. And there are tons of phone banks for Susan Crawford right now. That's the gal that we want to elect. She will support and protect voting rights.
Yeah, well, Elon
Or reproductive rights.
Elon has dumped a bunch of money.
Oh yeah, he's giving people.
Race.
He's telling people, "I'll pay you to vote this way." How? That's not even legal. He's horrible. So, but here's the hope: the many can overcome the money. So if you're sitting there thinking, "What can I do?"
Just come up with that.
I'm not going to tell you right about that. Though you're impressed with my smartness. No. But I was influenced by that phrase for somebody I totally
There's a nice little alliteration going on.
Yeah. So, the many can overcome the money, but when people, it's easy to get depressed, right? And to feel anxious and say, throw up your hands. That's what they want. But, you know, when you say, what can I do? I'm just one person, said 7 million people. So put it together. This is going to be death by 1,000 cuts. It's not going to be one like that one. Well, thank you, Andy.
I'm getting a little tired of the death by 1,000 cuts, so I like the raindrop one a little better. The death by 1,000 cuts is very vivid, but like, you know, it's a little bit aggressive. Okay. I guess we're aggressive now because it used to be about raindrops.
It is about raindrops too, but people want this to stop. So death by 1,000 cuts is. It's more punchy. And so when you're doing that, right, you're doing your part. And trust that there's millions of other people also doing their part. And as you're doing it, you're not going to necessarily see the change, right? But when we look back in this time in history, we're going to say, holy shit, I was taking all that down. Like, you know what I mean? So you gotta just keep going. And if you're feeling depressed or anxious, call me. I'll totally cheer you right up. I'll get you going again. But yeah, so that's what it's gonna take. But yeah, they're just lying. They think that their constituents and voters are stupid, and they're treating them that way. And it makes me upset because there's a lot of good people who maybe vote Republican. My family is one of them. Right? And so I care about people. I don't care what party you are from. I care about the greater good, and that includes you.
So what was your favorite part about the to-do? Our little town
hall. The town hall. My favorite part, I had lots. I didn't sleep a couple days before that because that was a lot.
That was a lot.
So I was a little bit in the fog.
Pretty amazing how that was pulled off, honestly. And you and Sylvia were just like mad queens out going about it, you know, like killing
Eastern Shore Indivisible, who really helped us too. Yeah. So big shout out to them.
Killing
it. Favorite part, I don't know. I work. This is also probably why I enjoy doing this work, because I like chaos. I work well under tremendous pressure and people saying that I can't do stuff. I kind of take it as a challenge and go, okay, Watch me go.
I can attest.
Yeah, you can attest for sure.
Sort of my secret weapon.
What? Nothing. All right. Okay. I'll get you later.
I enjoy giving people hope, I guess. Like, I enjoy
Come over.
helping people understand the tremendous power that they wield. And people out here have been really craving. This is our needy dog, Daisley. If I had a baby Bjorn, she'd be in it, guaranteed 100%. Anyway, hi, baby girl. Yes, I love you. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think that I think I just liked the energy in the room. I mean, people were very excited and have just been craving this kind of interaction with their representative that they're not getting. And thankfully and gratefully, Jamie Raskin stepped in to fill that void. And I thought that it just warmed my heart in a lot of ways. It was really wonderful.
I can attest. And Jamie's exactly who you would expect him to be. He's just very warm and kind and very gracious as well. And I think one of my favorite parts was just how the crowd was really into him. Like,
Yeah.
got quite a few standing ovations there, and then at the very end we got to take this selfie, and it's such a good picture. I actually got it. I actually got it put on glass and such so that we could hang it up. Because I mean, and I was also like sort of buoyed by the fact that so many people were thankful for this project, and
Yeah.
it was just probably one of our most successful projects to date, and I hope we can do even more of that in the future. I honestly feel like we're at a tipping point. Well, we have, but this one was very
This
very
one was
successful.
great for Team Arts.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Anyway, I said one of our most successful.
I know, but I'm just gonna. You tell.
But yeah, like yeah.
You feel that? Are you finished with your flutter?
Yeah.
Okay. When I was talking about the three things that are coming up right now, Susan Crawford in Wisconsin Supreme Court, we got to get her elected.
You already did that.
So I know I'm just going to rephrase and recap so it's all together.
All right, we'll try to start again.
There's also 2 congressional races in Florida. So if you are able to make phone calls, that's going to be really critical to get people to get out to vote, to remind them to vote. It's going to be really important. We can actually flip the House sooner. Yay.
And here,
That'll stop a lot of the damage.
here locally, if you're thinking about running for something, or if you're not, start thinking about running for something, because
totally.
you know, there's often positions or seats here that are just completely seated because liberals don't think they'll win or something. I don't know, but it's possible. And you know, there's the county council, there's the city council, there's
Board of Education.
Board of Education. That's
That's a big
highly,
one.
highly important. Yeah. So, and there's also the committees, the Democrat committees. The Democratic committees should be something that you consider as well in your areas throughout the Eastern Shore.
I do have an issue with the Democrats. I feel like they've lost their way. The leadership is nowhere to be found. You know who's leading the Democratic Party right now? AOC and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it's not like there should be nothing controversial about saying healthcare is a human right, housing is a human right. You shouldn't have, you shouldn't be able to be crushed under that because people need to make a profit. That's not right. And I think most of us can agree with that. So running for office, especially local, just think all elections are local. Honestly, run because you want to do the right thing, right? Not to be, like, I gotta win, so I have to be this way, right? Do what's right. If you think, whether you're a fan of AOC and Bernie or not, they're going across the country and they think, at this place, maybe 2,000 people will come and 20,000 people show up or something like that. It's crazy. And these are ruby red districts. Because people generally, like I said, people are good. They care. And they want the best for their families. We all do.
So there's one misnomer that I want to dispel among liberals in general. I'm certainly left-leaning, progressive, but I think we've gotten away too much from our roots in the last 30, 40 years.
Totally.
To, deal with the fact that conservatives have been going further and further right. And what that's doing is basically bringing the Democratic Party further and further to the right. They're to the extent that there's, no true liberal lions anymore, except for people like Crockett and AOC and Bernie and the progressive caucus in general. But as you see AOC and Bernie continue to build up the excitement throughout the country, what I want you to look at is where they are and how many people are there, right? Because what's happening is that the veil is starting to lift, right? And what people are starting to understand is that what these people are saying and what they're doing are actually two different things, right? And now the veil's completely off, because Elon gives them so much money that they don't even think they have to care anymore, right? They're showing their true colors now. And so what that's going to do is lift the veil more and more, and people are going to realize, hey, wait a minute, this isn't about liberty. I want things to be more about liberty, about saving Social Security, about saving Medicare. Most people get that and hiring vets and keeping vet benefits. And, I think as people realize that they're just going after everybody, more and more are going to say, well, I guess, I was wrong. And now we've got to go back to, that whole working class roots that was begun in the 30s under Franklin Delano Roosevelt and get back to those old school liberal policies that, continue this democratic project, and solidify it once and for all so that it can no longer be taken by these absurdly rich people who, because of how much money they have, become more and more sociopathic.
Totally.
More and more psychopathic, frankly. And our squirrel over here just eats everything and leaves nothing for the birds.
It's so frustrating.
I see you, George. Anyway,
I didn't know we named him.
I did. I named him yesterday.
Okay, girl.
I don't know why
You didn't
George.
announce that
It's
to
just,
me? George sounds good.
it's a very good name to just say, hey, George. Anyway, so there's this idea that you should move to the center so that you attract, conservatives. There is no, honestly, if you speak to the truth, to the real truth, and have campaigns that are basically financed by small dollar donations at this point, because that's what we have to do. The people who are financing through small dollar donations are only getting it from people like you and me, right? Mm-hmm. They're not getting it from huge corporations and that sort of thing.
They'll come knocking though. Let's see if you can be bought.
Huge profit making corporations, that sort of thing. But people run on small dollar donations. You don't have to sit there and think about, oh my God, I need so much money to run. You don't. What you need is a pair of feet and a hand to knock on doors And if you're doing things the right way,
We'll help you.
if you are truly for the people,
Right.
they're going to work for you for nothing. For nothing. We've seen it work. We did it.
Well, you know,
So it can be done.
we've done
It just takes a lot of hard work, some courage, and getting over this notion that you have to be scared of folks who have a Trump flag or whatever flag. You know, those aren't the people that we want to, meet anyway.
They're welcome here.
They're welcome. They're welcome if they want to, start accepting the fact that, this is a country that serves everybody. They're welcome.
Yeah.
They can change their minds. It's that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So, you don't need, what you need are real people working for you, as long as you're a real person who wants to run and run on a progressive ticket, on a progressive line of thinking, because this is what people really want.
Yeah.
They don't want lip service to say, hey, we should get rid of Citizens United, and then you run on that and then do nothing about it.
Right. And
No.
take tons of money from.
We need enough people, enough progressives who agree with that notion to get that done.
Well,
So that's where we're going. I believe that's where we're going. That is the trajectory. As long as we can get past this, stupidity, then I feel like, the rubber band's going to snap back and go the other way,
but we gotta keep doing.
And what we need to do is get that arrow going light speed, so it doesn't stop.
Well, and the other thing I want to say is make it about the issues, right? Because Republicans are really good about throwing out red meat. And I will say there are too many corporate Democrats that need to get their asses primaried.
Yeah,
Ask it out loud.
For sure.
Because,
that's what I was talking about.
Okay. But while they say, oh, we love grassroots, they leave us out of the lot.
Yeah.
Until they need something. And that's not okay. And I'm calling bullshit on that right now.
Yeah.
So, they like to... They do have a better platform overall, yes. But the more that we can get people to run that are regular people, you could call them progressives or not, but regular people who have jobs, who understand, who have regular jobs. Like maybe they're a crabber, or they work in a bar, or they're the receptionist somewhere, right? You can do that, right? Because you understand struggle. A lot of these politicians are bought and paid for, or they go, okay, we're going to put something forward really good, but we're going to add some stuff in there so it doesn't hurt our donors as bad.
All right.
That's not okay. That's bullshit. And so
we need people for people always.
Yeah. And so that's why I think AOC and Bernie people are really resonating with them, because they're not. You should not, as a politician, you should not have to be afraid to give a full-throated endorsement for healthcare. You should not be afraid. And if you are, something's not right. You're owned by somebody, probably Big Pharma or Health or something. You know what I mean? So it's not just Republicans. So let's just burn it all down and redo that. I think that would.
Anyway, so that should wind that up a little bit. So let's talk about what's coming next. I know what I'm going to be trying to do over the next month or so is I'm going to write a couple more blogs, and one's going to focus on Social Security. What is it? How does it work? And what do we need to do to keep it going? Because there's a lot of myths and a lot of misunderstanding circling this very simple program.
Yeah.
That is
so good.
One of the best working, most efficient programs of the federal government. So we'll talk about that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is continuing, like I was saying, FDR's project, right? So people say, socialism, but that's not really what it's about. It's about rights. And I want to dig deeper into that.
Let's do. You guys double? So Indivisible, what's next? So volunteer to make phone calls for Susan Crawford and for the 2 Florida House seat races. That's going to be really important. And those elections are next week. And we'll put the link in the bottom here so you can have access to how to get on those calls. The other is showing up on April 5th. This is a mass mobilization, and we need people out there demanding that Elon Musk and Donald Trump take their hands off of our Social Security, our health care. They're trying to break all of these things. Like, they'll say, oh, no, everything's fine. Like, we're not touching any of those things. But they're trying to break them so people will say, see, it doesn't work, so we can just give it to them to privatize, which makes those services worse, more expensive, but they make a ton of money. So those are probably the biggest things right now that you can do. And also get involved in the Indivisible group. We have Cambridge Indivisible here in Cambridge, but there's other groups like Eastern Shore Indivisible. There's a bunch. And if you go onto indivisible.org, you can find one that's closest to you. I think Indivisible is a very, very good group who definitely hits the...
Well, they're very pragmatic in their approach.
Yeah.
There's very concrete things
Totally.
that you can do, and they show us how. And they have been for 8 years. And, you know,
yeah,
Leah and
Ezra
are, you know, I've gotten really good at this, frankly. And yeah. So good following their lead.
So we're also going to still follow Andy Harris around and call him out on his big fat lies. He's just been flying under the radar, and this area is gerrymandered. But you know what? The many can overcome the money.
So as the summer comes, I have this idea that we can go down. Well, Andy lives down on the harbor, so we can go down in our little inner tubes and kayaks and, you know, day sailors or whatever, and just like hang out and have a party under his little area there, and in the harbor, just a little bit beyond the bridge,
With waterproof signs.
signs and, you know, our little coolers of whatever you're drinking these days.
Little juice.
And, you know, just have a good old time.
Yeah. You gotta have fun doing this. And take a break and do self-care. If we keep...
Whatever you can do to make them uncomfortable.
But if we keep going, we're gonna get to the other side. But we have to keep going. Even when it's hard, if you don't get that satisfaction immediately, it will come. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have faith. There's a lot of us who are fighting back.
And don't forget, Thursdays, RER.
Oh, yeah. Thursdays, we go to RAR from 4 to 6. Just a community gathering, come hang out.
I've been saying RAR. Some people say RER. I think it's RAR.
Well, I like RAR because it's like, I am woman, hear me, RAR. Anyway, we get, you know, you can come hang out if you're wondering, you want to check us out. That's totally fine. We would love that. You can also go to our website, and we list events there all the time. So, yeah.
Cool.
Have faith.
All right. Well, we'll keep the porch light on.
And we'll keep it real.